Mfon walked into the sitting room, her heart heavy as she overheard Uchenna's angry voice booming. Mfon has brought me nothing but shame, he shouted, pacing the room like a man who had lost control. She paused at the door for a moment before stepping in quietly. The room was filled with relatives, Uchenna's brothers, sisters, elders, and even his mother, seated on worn-out couches and plastic chairs. Ah, I'm glad you finally came, Uchenna said bitterly, pointing a shaking finger at her. Sit down. Let everybody hear what kind of wife I married. Mfon sat down slowly, her hands trembling as she folded them on her lap. She could feel the eyes of everyone in the room boring into her, some filled with pity, others with judgment. I called this meeting because I can't continue living with this shame anymore, Uchenna began, pacing back and forth. Imagine, my so-called wife, this woman I trusted with my life, has been sleeping around with different men. Oh. And the worst is, she had children for them and have been parading them as mine. Gas filled the room as Mama Uchenna, seated by the window, clutched her chest in shock. Mfon, what is this I'm hearing? She screamed. Mfon opened her mouth to speak, but Uchenna cut her off. Don't even try to lie. For your own good though, you had better tell the whole truth. Ifeanyi, Uchenna's eldest brother, motioned to Uchenna. Calm down now, Uchenna. Let's hear from everyone before we make any final conclusions. Mfon took a deep breath and began, her voice shaking. I didn't betray my husband. Everything I did was for my husband. Uchenna begged me to do everything I did. He told me he could not stand the shame and I should do it. It was the only way to save our family from the disgrace. Liar! Uchenna roared, slamming his hand on the arm of a chair. What kind of lie is this? You're trying to twist the story to make yourself look innocent. Eh? Let her speak, Ifeanyi said firmly, silencing the murmurs around the room. But there's something I don't understand, Mfon. What exactly was he asking you to save him from? Mfon paused for a moment and then continued. Uchenna was struggling with. He was impotent. The house roared in chaos. Keep quiet, everyone. Let's hear this woman, Ifeanyi shouted angrily. Mfon continued, tears in her eyes. Uchenna was struggling with his manhood. 3 years after our wedding, he convinced me that allowing someone else to step in would solve our problem. I didn't want to do it at first, but he persistently begged me. He said it was for the good of the family. Chukwudi, the youngest brother, snorted. And you expect us to believe that? What kind of woman agrees to do such a thing? No virtuous woman on earth would ever do that, no matter the pressure. Mfon's voice cracked. I didn't do it because I wanted to. I did it because I loved my husband and wanted to save our marriage. Mama Uchenna turned to her son, her face pale. Uchenna, is there any truth to what she's saying? No, Uchenna shouted. All these stories, she's making it up to cover her shame. Don't listen to this liar. Ifeanyi leaned forward, his expression serious. Uchenna, are you sure? What are you saying? He interjected, narrowing his eyes. Don't you remember Sochi? Didn't I get Sochi pregnant in the university? Yes, the child may have died, but it was me, same me. How can she now say I'm impotent? I begged her to turn herself into a whore. What kind of story is that? Sleeping around with men to have a child for me, Uchenna. There's no kind of stupid lie I will not hear. Mfon wiped her tears. I only wanted to protect this family, but instead of standing by me, Uchenna has turned me into a loose woman. And Uchenna shook her head. This is too much for me. My head is just spinning. I don't understand. Chukwudi crossed his arms. All I know, whether she was forced to, begged to, or persuaded, she crossed a line. That's just the simple truth. And she can't continue to be a part of this family. I agree with you, Brother Uche. Whatever decision you are making is the right one. She has to leave. Mfong stood up slowly, her legs trembling. I've tried to explain myself, but it's clear no one wants to hear me out or believe me. If my husband has condemned me, what hope do I have? Mama Uchenna looked at Mfong, her face confused. I sincerely don't know what to say, but I can never accept sleeping with another man as a married woman. No, that's an abomination. But you'll still be my wife. For how long? Mfong asked, her voice breaking. How long am I supposed to endure the humiliation and pain? The meeting dragged on with no resolution. Accusations flew, tempers fled, and the air grew heavier with each passing minute. By the time the sun began to set, Mfong knew one thing for sure. Her time in this marriage was coming to an end. Mfong closed the door of her modest apartment, her heart heavy as she reminded herself of the day's events. Her eyes filled with tears as she leaned against the door, clutching her chest. The humiliation from the family meeting replayed in her mind, and Uchenna's venomous words rang louder than ever. She wiped her tears and picked up her phone. With trembling fingers, she dialed her sister Elle. The phone rang twice before a warm, familiar voice answered. Mfong, are you okay? Elle asked, sensing the distress in her sister's silence. Mfong couldn't hold back any longer. No. He humiliated me in front of everyone. He called me all sorts of names, told lies about me. No one believed me, not even his mother. Eno let out a deep sigh. Hi sis, you don't deserve this. What do I do now? I feel so lost, Mfong whispered, her voice cracking. Listen to me, Eno said firmly. You've given this marriage everything, but Uchenna has made his choice. If he wants a divorce, give it to him. Focus on yourself and the children and move on. Mfong sniffled. But where do I start? I have nothing, Eno. I don't have a job. I don't have a life. My life was all surrounded around Uchenna, and now this. You have me, Eno reassured her. Come to Port Harcourt. There's a job opening at my friend's company and I'll help you settle in there, sis. Please come. Mfong hesitated, but eventually agreed. Okay, I'll do it for the kids. 2 years later, Mfong's life has changed dramatically. She had moved to Port Harcourt, taken the job Eno had arranged, and worked her way to a supervisory position. She was finally smiling again, her children thriving in school and her heart healing from the past. At a colleague's event, she bumped into a tall, well-dressed man. She was holding a drink which had mistakenly spilled on him. I'm so sorry, Mfong said, embarrassed. No need to apologize, the man said, flashing a kind smile. I should have been the one watching where I was going. My name is Basi, by the way. Mfong smiled back. I'm Mfong. What started as a chance encounter soon blossomed into a beautiful romance. Basi was a successful businessman and he adored Mfon and treated her like a queen. He loved her children also as and took them as his own and often spoke about building a future together. A year later, they got married and for the first time in years, Mfon felt truly loved and valued. 3 years into Uchenna's second marriage, his dream of a blissful life was shattered. His new wife Chinyere was undeniably beautiful, but equally impatient and demanding. Their home, instead of being a heaven, had become a battleground filled with constant arguments and bitter complaints. Chinyere's frustration over not conceiving a child grew daily and her sharp words cut deeper with each passing moment. Every day, he would call Uchenna to come sleep with her so she could have children of her own. Though his manly part worked sometimes, he noticed that it was also fading sometimes. One evening, Uchenna returned home from work, clutching his side in pain. He has been having pains in his groins for weeks and have blamed it on the marathon intercourse with his wife. However, after weeks of discomfort, he finally visited the doctor. The diagnosis left him shaking. His manhood was failing again, and this time the condition was irreversible. At first, he didn't know how to break the news to his wife, knowing how erratic she could be. But after a few days, Chinyere started nagging as usual. I need to have a baby. Oh. It's been days now and you have refused to be with me. Uchenna had no choice but to tell her the truth. When he broke the news to Chinyere, her reaction was anything but supportive. So, you're telling me you won't be able to give me a child? She spat, her voice dripping with contempt. It's not my fault, Uchenna said defensively. I'm trying to find treatment. Treatment? Chinyere laughed bitterly. What kind of treatment? So you expect me to remain childless while you go around looking for treatment? She asked, contempt filled in her voice. As months passed, Chinyere's disdain grew. She began openly mocking him, calling him an incomplete man, an impotent man. Soon, even the neighbors heard about Uchenna's impotence. Chinyere spared no time in telling everyone, including Uchenna's parents. She aired all their private matters for anyone that cared to listen. One afternoon, Uchenna came home to find Chinyere with another man in their living room. His heart sank as she looked at him with cold eyes. What is the meaning of this? He demanded, his voice shaking. Since you can't be a real husband to me, I found someone to assist you, she said unapologetically. You should be thanking me, oh. I'm trying to help you here, she scoffed. Not so long after, Chinyere packed her bags and left. I can't be with you, Mr. Impotent, she said, walking out of the door. Uchenna just stared, unable to say anything more. One evening, Uchenna slumped into the couch in his living room, the walls echoing with an unbearable silence. He hadn't stepped outside all day, too humiliated after a bitter confrontation with his neighbor, who had shouted loud enough for half the street to hear. Good for nothing, lonely, impotent man. The word had cut deeper than he cared to admit. As he sat there, his mind drifted back to the days when Mfon was still in his life. He remembered her laughter, her kindness, and the way she always tried to hold the family together, even when things were tough. I made a mistake, he muttered to himself. A huge mistake. Out of boredom, he picked up his phone and began scrolling through social media. Then he froze. A photo caught his attention. It was Mfon. She was standing on a beautiful beach, her face glowing with happiness. Beside her was Bassey, holding her close while their children played in the sand. They looked so happy, like the perfect family. Uchenna stared at the picture for what he felt like forever. His chest felt tight and his hands trembled as he held the phone. Memories of how he had treated the phone came flooding back. The lies, the insults, and how he had taken her for granted. Tears rolled down his cheeks as he realized how much he had lost. Alone in his empty house, Uchenna was overwhelmed with regret. Fong had moved on, built a new life, and found real happiness, while he was left with nothing but his mistakes and loneliness. It was too late to fix anything. He had thrown away the best thing in his life, and he knew he would live with that regret forever. Uchenna's days became an endless circle of emptiness and regret. He rarely left the house anymore, avoiding the mocking stares of neighbors who whispered about his downfall. Every corner of his home was filled with silence, a stark reminder of the family he had once had but carelessly lost. As the days turned into weeks, he found himself scrolling through social media more often, obsessing over Mfon's seemingly perfect life. Each photo she posted painted the picture of joy, a loving husband, happy children, and a life filled with laughter and love. The most recent one showed her and Bassey at an event, arms wrapped around each other, their smiles radiating contentment. The image burned into Uchenna's mind, a constant reminder of what he could have had if only he had been kinder, more patient, and more appreciative. One day, he mustered the courage to call Eno, Mfon's sister. Perhaps she could arrange for him to apologize to Mfon, to explain his regrets and seek a closure at least. But Eno's response was cold and direct. She has moved on, Uchenna. She's happy now where she is. You should focus on making peace with yourself. The call ended, leaving Uchenna feeling even more hollow. He realized that no amount of apologies could undo the damage he had caused or bring back the life he had destroyed with his pride and selfishness. Years passed and Uchenna's health deteriorated even further. He became a recluse, rarely venturing out except for the bare necessities. On his occasional trips outside, he overheard whispers from old acquaintances. That's Uchenna, the innocent man who chased his wife. Did you hear his second wife left him too? What a shame! Serves him right. Every comment felt like a dagger to his already shattered heart. Meanwhile, Mfon continued to thrive. She and Bassey soon had a child together and their love continually blossomed. One evening, as Uchenna sat in his lonely living room, he picked up an old photo album. The pages were filled with memories of his life with Mfon and their children. His trembling hands lingered on a photo of Mfon holding their first child, her face glowing with happiness. Tears rolled down his face as he whispered to the empty room. I had it all, but I let it slip away. In the end, Uchenna's story was told as a man who had everything, but lost it because of his selfishness. And while Mfon flourished in her new life, Uchenna remained a prisoner of his past, haunted by the shadows of what could have been. The end. Wow, what a powerful and emotional journey this story has taken us on, from love and betrayal to regret and redemption. There are so many lessons to take away from Uchenna and Mfon's experiences. Let's reflect on the moral lessons of the story. One moral lesson is that you should cherish the people who love and support you. Uchenna had a loving, devoted wife, but his selfishness and lack of gratitude cost him everything. Another lesson is that karma catches up on everyone. Uchenna's mistreatment of Mfon led to his downfall, showing that our actions, good or bad, have consequences. Now, I want to hear from you, my wonderful summer story tribe. Please tell me, if you were Mfon, would you have forgiven Uchenna and taken him back if he begged? Do you think Uchenna truly learned his lesson, or was it too late for him to change? What other lessons did you learn from this story? Please drop your thoughts in the comment section below. I can't wait to hear your beautiful insights. And here is a quote to remember: gratitude turns what we have into enough, and love turns what we have into everything. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more captivating content, please like this video. Don't forget to share it with your friends and subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that moves and inspires you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.